You like apples? Well, the Diamondbacks just scored the most runs they ever have at Fenway Park in a 12-2 rout over the Boston Red Sox. How do you like them apples? We got all that and more, including Jordan Montgomery getting moved to the bullpen right here, right now. Damon, let's go! Welcome into another edition of the PHNX D-Backs podcast, brought to you by Bet365. Of course, download the Bet365 app right now and use that code of PHNX Bet365 when you sign up. Choose your offer and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. I botched it again. This is again why we brought Archie in. It's PHNX 365. My name is Derek Monty, occasionally known as your mayor of PHNX. This man next to me is the one, the only Damon Dog himself, Damon Farrell. I can say that now. That's out in the open. He's the people's producer. And more importantly, he's my best friend. I don't know if I'm his best friend. Wow. He doesn't want to take me on the boys' trips, but
that was wholesome.
I know. It was maybe too wholesome on a night where the Diamondbacks kicked the Red Sox ass. 12-2, Damon. 12 runs again at Fenway, a franchise high, with the previous high for the Diamondbacks being 7 runs being scored. They did that several times. But more importantly, the Diamondbacks improved to 73-56. This is their 4th win in a row. And Damon, they shouldn't have let the Snakes get hot, but they let the Snakes get hot. No, and their 18 wins since July 29th lead all of Major League Baseball.
Major League Baseball is shaking in their shoes looking at this team. I mean, how could you not be? The thing is, Derek, and I was thinking about this during the game, they don't have their MVP candidate, their home run leader, who's the best fielder on the team, their next best fielder on the team.
Nope, they don't have him either.
And their 2 best pitchers are not pitching good currently, and they're still doing this.
And their starting catcher too, the guy that kind of like leads the team out there, leads at least the pitching situation. Yeah, it is. And I mean, of course, the Diamondbacks right now, JA asks in the chat how many games, I'm guessing above 500. We are now 17 games above 500, which I believe they said on the broadcast matches a high for at least Torey Lovullo's tenure back when the Diamondbacks made that run at the wild card game. But I mean, this offense, Damon, stayed super hot, scored all over the place. They did the thing that they do. They scored the first inning runs. And of course, we had Ryne Nelson on the mound. We had a big decision made today by the Arizona Diamondbacks. We're going to talk all about that here in a little bit. But, you know, this was one of those days where the offense started things off, giving Ryne Nelson that run support in the first inning. You had singles by Corbin Carroll and Jake McCarthy because, of course, and then Jock Peterson walked to load the bases. Josh Bell walks in a run. And then Lourdes Gurriel brings in another run on a sac fly. But it felt a little underwhelming. Once again, the Diamondbacks had bases loaded early. They just did this in the series against the Marlins where they had bases loaded early and were only able to get, you know, a run or 2 in. And this is one of those situations where it feels like it's a more maybe more troubling than it actually is. But when you score 12 runs in the game, I think you don't go back and look at the fact that you had bases loaded in the first and didn't get enough runs then because you got plenty of runs throughout the game.
Yeah, I mean, this team just continues to play insane levels of offense. I mean, since the All-Star break, I believe they're the best offense in baseball. Correct. And they just continue to do that game in and game out. It doesn't matter who's on the mound for the other team. Doesn't matter who's pitching for us. They're just, let's throw that disgusting, stupid Rays series in the trash. No one cares. It was a fluke. It was Fugazi. This is this team. We've been seeing it for the better part of 2 months now. And it's like the funnest brand of baseball to watch when they're just mashing like this.
It really is. And honestly, they do actually lead all of Major League Baseball with, I believe it's 37 hits now, with bases loaded, or it might be 36 hits, but they do actually lead Major League Baseball in that category of bases loaded. They also lead Major League Baseball in another fun category that impacted this game quite a bit: grand slams. The D-backs 9 grand slams this season are the most in MLB this year. And of course, Geno added that to that tonight with his grand slam in the 7th inning. The Diamondbacks did that thing where, you know, they scored early, and then we wondered if they were going to be able to score anymore. It was a close game there early on, but they really busted things wide open there in the middle innings in the 6th and the 7th. They scored 3 runs in the 6th. They scored 4 in the 7th on that Geno Suarez grand slam. You had Peterson get on by a hit by pitch, Bell single, Gurriel single, and then Geno hits that grand slam. In the 6th inning, a bunch of hits. Gurriel walks, ADC gets a single, Geno gets an RBI single in that inning, Guillorme gets an RBI double, and then Perdomo gets an RBI single. It was just one after the other. They kind of just chipped away at this Boston Red Sox team and really did it. I mean, the grand slam there obviously was a big hit, but the Diamondbacks only ended up with 3 extra base hits tonight, and that they scored 12 runs with only 3 extra base hits.
Yeah, that's insane. When I was putting the count graphic together, Derek, and we'll get into it later, but 16 hits and 3 extra base hits, and that's pretty insane. I mean, they were just chipping away all game long, and that's what this team will do to you. I mean, they don't. I think that they're not an overly aggressive team. We have some guys who are a bit swing and miss, like a Geno in particular, but most of the players in this lineup, they'll take their singles if you give them things. If they want to just get on base, that's their mentality. That's the way Torey wants to play baseball, and that's what they do consistently.
And yeah, it was taking what was given to them, and they just kind of did it. They did it to this Boston Red Sox team. I mean, especially late there, late innings, the Red Sox just kind of. I'm going to butcher his name because that's what I do on this show, but Winkowski, I believe, they just left him in there for 3 innings and we're like, "You're the sacrificial lamb tonight, buddy. We're not blowing up our bullpen for the rest of the series, considering that right now we're already down 6-2. So go give up however many runs you can." But the Diamondbacks really did do a good job of that. Geno is such a dog. Jay Cuddy, he says in the chat, you're absolutely right. Alonzo earlier had a apology for Geno. He said, "I'm sorry, Geno, for being an OG hater. We just needed to hug you like a Care Bear this whole time. My man is not wrong." And of course, the vibes were always there with Geno, but obviously the struggles, were frustrating. And it's especially frustrating because things that the Diamondbacks try to do to improve this team at times, especially when they have a good team and they want to make it a great team, just don't tend to work out. And it felt like Geno was another one of those moves where it wasn't going to work out. It started making you feel like the only thing that did work out was Jock Peterson, with the way everybody was injured and the way Jordan Montgomery was pitching early. But again, big decision being made today. Jordan Montgomery being moved to the bullpen. And again, we're going to go into this in detail later, but Ryne Nelson got the start today, and it was one of the biggest starts of his career, to be honest. And I know that might be hyperbolic to say. I know that might be a bit much to say, but it truly is, because the Diamondbacks made a decision, a fairly firm decision that, I mean, they could go back on, right? Like they could always just decide to have Montgomery back in the rotation, but they made a fairly firm decision to go with Ryne Nelson, and he absolutely delivered today. He went out there and proved that he is this guy. He's continuing to be this guy that he's been since late June, early July. And I mean, he was incredible. He started off a little shaky. He gave up 2 hard hit doubles, and it felt immediately like, oh my God, is this is Nelson gonna fall apart now that the decision has been made? Not to say like he's gonna pitch any differently, but now that he's kind of won the job, we've seen this before with Ryne Nelson. All of a sudden, he's not as good as he was when he was competing. Like when he was called up and he was competing with Dre Jameson for a job. Both of those guys absolutely fucking killed it. And, you just felt like the competition maybe brought the best out of him. Maybe it did it again here in this 6-man rotation competition. But Ryne Nelson cruised after that. After he gave up those 2 doubles to start off the game, he was just locked in after that.
Yeah, I mean, you're totally right about Ryne Nelson. Like, we've seen that where when he needs, like, when it feels like he's on his last legs, That's when Ryne Nelson goes out there and is just the best pitcher in this rotation.
Back is against the wall and he
100%.
fucking delivers, you know?
And for him to do this in a game where he was beforehand given the rotation spot and told, you're the guy moving forward, we believe in you. That feels massive, doesn't it? It feels like maybe we've turned a corner here with Ryne Nelson where he's just this guy. And like that fastball, that plays.
Oh my God, does it? And I mean, it was dominant again tonight. He threw it 63% of the time. He only got 4 whiffs on it. He really wasn't getting a lot of swing and miss, but I mean, it really didn't matter because batters really couldn't, do much with it when they were putting, the bat on the ball. They were just kind of harmlessly flying out a lot of times or just getting out. He mixed in the changeup and the cutter. He once again just had that pinpoint accuracy though with that fastball. That fastball was wherever he wanted to put it, including in big moments, right? Like there was that one bat with Rafael Devers up there, right? And he just pitched around him to load the bases and then absolutely attacked the next batter. And you could just tell he was doing whatever he wanted to, including being very careful with a dangerous hitter in Devers and choosing in a very mature move to load the bases by walking him and not letting him hurt him, and then absolutely going after the next guy and striking him out. It was a masterful sequence as far as picking your poison, picking and choosing who you want to face and who you want to let beat you in that kind of moment.
Yeah, the guy's just been unreal, and he's been the best pitcher on this, rotation in this staff since the All-Star break, which is, I mean, like if you told me that at the All-Star break when this team was kind of middling, not that great of a season thus far, I would have told you that this second half of the season has been a complete and utter disaster. Like, you know what I mean? Like if I was like, hey, Derek, second half of the season, Ryne Nelson's going to be the best pitcher on this team. You'd sit there and you'd be like, all right, so we missed playoffs. And
so everything fell apart.
Yeah, it all fell apart and people got injured.
No, Ryne Nelson shoved. And a matter of fact, he most of the time gave up 2 earned runs or less in most of his outings and was fairly incredible. You know? That's how I just keep describing him, that fairly incredible, because it's just amazing that he's able to do this with basically his fastball. And he mixes in now the changeup a little tiny bit, but he throws the cutter quite a bit, and it's just enough to give them a different look than his fastball. But it's just amazing right now what he's able to do with essentially one pitch the majority of the time that he throws exceptionally well. So Ryne Nelson, 6 innings pitched, 5 hits allowed, 2 earned runs, 1 walk, 7 strikeouts. Quality start that this Diamondbacks absolutely team needed, and a great way to kick off this series at Fenway. You have the bullpen though, like they deserve their flowers as well, right? 3 innings pitched. Why? I'll say this. I will say this. The only criticism I have is why even go to Ginkel?
Sure.
Why even go to Mantiply with a left-handed heavy lineup tomorrow when you're going to need him and you're going to need AJ Puck? I'm just saying, like, this one was in the bag, and I don't even know if you needed to go to these guys, but the bullpen locked it down. 3 innings pitched. They literally allowed 1 hit and 1 walk in the final 3 innings. That's it, with 3 strikeouts.
You're like, I know it was like kind of our fun little joke we played last year when Scott McGuff would come in, light the candle, play the saxophone.
Sexy Scott McGuff time. Yeah,
get in a bath. But it was funny, and like, Scott McGuff had about a month where he was good, but that's actually how I feel when I watch Kevin Ginkel pitch. Yeah, that is like, I'm swooning over it. That guy is amazing, and I can't believe he's on my team.
I know.
Oh, I love Kevin Ginkel.
Oh, he's the best. And he was on both of your teams technically. The other one he's a legend on your forehead right there. But difficult decision tonight because Ryne Nelson definitely did enough in the offense without Geno. Did enough, but we have to give our king snake to Eugenio Suarez because this man,
I like that. I like the way he said
off. That. He went off tonight, 3 for 5 with that grand salami. He had 5 RBI. This is the 5th career grand slam for Geno, but the 2nd grand slam this month for this man. 2 of his 5 are this month. I don't know how many times I need to say that.
That's pretty unreal. And I love the celebration. Geno's vibes are just incredible. I know no one believes us, but I really do feel like me and you were like two of the only people that were like, let's not DFA Geno.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like you have guys right now on the team, right, that are going through their own struggles, and not everybody is always hitting, not everybody's locked in. I don't know, it's hard to say that after a night like tonight, because I think besides Jock Peterson, who walked and got hit by a pitch, pretty much everybody had a hit in this game. Multiple guys had multiple hits. Jake McCarthy was 2 for 6. Josh Bell was 3 for 4. What a pickup Josh fucking Bell was. Like, I love this man. And a great defensive play there at the end of the game, man.
The Cardinals might need him to play like defensive end for them this season.
He could be a two-sport athlete.
He probably might have to.
Let's just watch those knees. Let's keep his knees fresh. All right. Lourdes Gurriel Jr., 2 for 3 tonight. And then Geno, of course, 3 for 5 with those 5 RBI. Perdomo, your boy, 3 for 5 with 2 RBI. I mean, Perdomo is just Domo is Domo, right? Big Domo energy. This man he's getting hot. He's getting hot. You're starting to see less of Perdomo just having that big 1 for 4 game where that one hit came late in the game and got the offense going, right? Or even a walk or something. Because, like, honestly, there were a lot of nights that he had that. Perdomo was hitting 288 with a 737 OPS.
I was just
respect on his game.
Yeah, I was just about to bring that up because you were saying he was getting hot, and I was like, you know what he is? Let me look at his stats right now. 288, Derek?
288.
737 OPS? This is my boy.
That's the guy.
Oh, God. And this team just fires on all cylinders when he's in the lineup.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
He's the difference between winning close games on the margins and losing it. Like, it feels like pretty consistently. Well, just what a player.
He's one of those guys that just brings so much, even on an 0 for 4 night. He brings so much beyond just what he does at the dish. So this team is rolling on all cylinders right now, and things are going well. So, of course, we have more to talk about this game when we come back from our break. But first, before we do that, we got to talking about vibes. The vibes are immaculate at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Damon, I put my fit together for the draft.
Did you know?
It's absurd, and I cannot wait for all of you to see it. Make sure to join us for our PHNX fantasy draft. It's going to be crazy. It's a champion's fit. It's the fit of a champion.
I knew it was going to be some like just obnoxious. I won, you guys lost.
Yes.
Everybody else suck it type of fit.
Correct.
Because that's just what you do, Derek.
It's the kind of fit that I would wear to Gila River Resorts and Casinos in general, because they make me feel like I'm a better person when I'm there. I feel more important when I'm there, and that's because of the immersive experience that they offer. And of course, that gaming floor that just makes me feel like an absolute rock star. The state-of-the-art gaming floor that has over 800 slot machines, 15 blackjack tables, live table games, and of course, Arizona's largest casino sportsbook. So make sure to check out all of their dining options. Make sure to check out all the fun that can be had. I mean, it's still 105 degrees outside. Go hang out by the pool, drink yourself a pina colada, and live like you're a champion of your fantasy league, even though I'm the champion of ours. So make sure to head to Gila River Resorts and Casinos and let them show you what next level is all about. I might not have that much time left to brag about being the champion of the league. I'm going to eat it up. So we will be hosting more events there, by the way, not just that fantasy draft, but Cards and Sons watch parties and so much more. So stay tuned for that. Come hang out with us. And of course, you do you at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Visit playathila.com for more details. All right. Well, if we're talking about Sanderson Ford, we got to talk about the drive of the game, Damon. Of course, the drive of the game is Geno's grand slam, that deep drive of the game presented by Sanderson Ford. It's a grand slam of the game, if you will, but definitely a deep drive. Geno, again, just doing some amazing things for this team, and Sanderson Ford continues to do amazing things for the Valley. We are proud to partner together with Sanderson Ford and their amazing facility, their huge inventory of vehicles. Sometimes you go to a car dealership and they kind of talk you into taking something they have, right? I don't know if anybody's done that, but you go in, you have your heart set on the baby blue one with a white roof, and then next thing you know, they don't have that one. They're giving you a different one, right? Sanderson Ford wouldn't even let me take the baby blue one out for a test drive because they wanted to make sure it was available for anybody that wanted to come purchase it. And that is because they have a wide variety, and whatever you're looking for color, trim, whatever package you're looking for, Sanderson Ford has you covered with their huge 65-acre facility. And of course, make sure don't forget to stop for lunch. You'll thank me later. I'm telling you, it's cheap. It's amazing. The food was incredible. Also, right now they are pushing for the playoffs, and you get the payoffs like deals on the 24 Ford Bronco Sport Big Bend. Of course, that's my favorite vehicle, just ranked highest in quality in its segment by JD Power, plus 0% financing for 36 months with no payments for 90 days on Ford F-150, Escape, Edge, Explorer, and Expedition. So do not miss the summer sales event. The Sanderson Ford summer sales event is here, and they are teaming up with the Boys of Summer for a final playoff payoff sale. Purchase or lease any new Ford and get 4 tickets for your family to see the D-backs push for the playoffs. Get 0% for 36 months OAC from Ford Credit. See dealer for details. All right, well, if you are here in the PHNX Sports YouTube channel right now, we thank you. If you're watching on Twitter, come on over here, get in the live chat, be with us on YouTube. If you are, of course, new, make sure you're subscribed to our channel. Make sure you sign up for notifications. That way you don't miss whenever our shows go live. Of course, leave us a like. Jesse isn't here with all of his, self-esteem. So me and Damon, we need those attaboys. So make sure to leave that like, hit that like button, HTL. And also, don't forget, hold the line at all times. If you're listening on the audio podcasting side, make sure you're subscribed on your favorite audio podcasting app. Of course, leave us a review. We appreciate that feedback. Those 5-star reviews do mean the world to us. Now we're going to take a look at the count, but I do know that there were some people earlier in our chat, perhaps, Damon, that were like, oh, I can't wait to see the hard hit percentages in this one.
Rumors of this, Derek.
There was rumors, there was talk of that in the chat, perhaps. What's the hard hit percentage? We all want to know. Well, guess what? You ain't going to find out on this show tonight because we switched shit up. Damon, show us the count presented by Desert Financial Credit Union. That's right. We went with XBA tonight. We went with Yoshi's suggestion, and he's not even here. We were also going to tell him how much we love Luis Guillorme, but that's also something that we don't get to do. But the Diamondbacks outscored the Red Sox by a score of 12-2. They out hit the Red Sox 16-6. They got runners in scoring position 6 for 13. Diamondbacks hit 462 with runners in scoring position. Let's go. That feeds families. To the Red Sox 1 for 6. They're 167. Their little batting average over there with runners in scoring position. Here's the wild stat. The Red Sox got more extra base hits than the Diamondbacks. That's right. 4 extra base hits for the Red Sox to the Diamondbacks 3. The Diamondbacks' only extra base hits were a double by Guillorme, a double by Perdomo, and that home run by Geno. But there is your precious XBA stat, your expected batting average, 242 for the Red Sox to the Diamondbacks, 318.
Derek, the chat is incensed that we got rid of hard hit percentage. I mean, you've never seen people so angry.
You fucking asked for it, you're gonna get it. See, you all needed to mock hard hit percentage, but now there he goes. It's gone. You can all blame Yoshi for that, but
only Yoshi is happy.
Well, I mean, he's the reason why it happened. So no surprise there. But man, I'll tell you, this Diamondbacks team, they are scoring some runs, and it is amazing what they've been doing lately, Damon. I mean, this game particularly, they hit on all cylinders. Honestly, Ryne Nelson could have as easily been the king snake tonight as Geno, because he only allowed 2 runs, and without Geno's contributions, the Diamondbacks still outscored them by 7-2. This team went on to pile on more runs there in the 9th inning, and I haven't seen anything like this with a Diamondbacks team. I really haven't. I mean, we saw glimpses of this early on. We thought, cool, look at the way they can outscore some of these teams. But it became very few and far between that we would see those performances. And now when you look at what the Diamondbacks have been doing lately, the Diamondbacks, I mean, 12 runs tonight, 10 runs against Miami in game 3, 9 runs in game 1, 7 games in the loss to the Tampa Bay Rays, 11 runs scored in the game against the Colorado Rockies in the finale, 12 runs scored against the Phillies in the finale, 11 runs scored in game 2 or game 3 of that series. I mean, this team has just been going off lately, and it is not, it's not a fluke. I mean, they really can put the runs up, and they, again, they do it on a night like tonight where they only hit 1 home run.
Yeah, and Sean says it here in the chat. It's like, remember when it felt like we would use up all of our runs?
Yes.
In games, like we'd sit here and we'd be like,
save some of those.
Yeah, damn, 20 runs against the Rockies. Can we maybe spread those out over the course of the series.
Right.
But now this team is just consistently like, yeah, we're going to put up 7, 8, 12 runs a night. And it's pretty special to watch.
Well, it felt like that a little bit there in the 9th inning when they scored those 3 runs that felt like, all right, you guys, we could wrap this up now. We need to save a little bit of this offense for tomorrow and the rest of the series. But I think the idea there is we've kind of always wanted to see this team keep their foot on the gas. And we've seen it before where they score some big runs early, especially in the first inning, and then the offense kind of goes quiet for the rest of the game, allowing their opponent to come back, allowing it, even if they don't end up losing the game, allowing it to be much closer than it should have been considering the circumstances. But now again, this was one of those games. They scored runs in the beginning, in the middle, and in the end. They scored runs all throughout this one.
Yeah, and hopefully we see this in the next couple games, because the Red Sox don't have a great pitching staff, right? Like the next 2 pitchers coming up here are not. I mean, Tanner Houck, is that what we decided, that how we pronounced it?
Yeah.
After our
we butchered all those names. I think I called him Brian when it's really just Brian. It's just Brian Bayo, which I should know considering I have 2 L's in my last name, and it also makes the same sound. You would think I would be more understanding about that, but I just butchered
as a Latino
the entire
man,
Red Sox
Derek.
starting pitcher. Yeah, right, exactly. As a Puerto Rican, I apologize for that, but it was also more fun to just say their names all sounded like Star Wars names, which if you mispronounce them, they definitely do.
Yeah, Cutter Crawford. I mean, that's a Star Wars name.
Still crazy. They spelled his first name with a K and his last name with a C. I still can't get over that. But
I think it emphasizes how Zach Gallen needs to be good tomorrow, because we've seen too many starts where he hasn't been good recently.
Yeah.
And he's going up against a pitcher who, by all accounts, he is better than, and it would be absolutely huge for this team. Clinch the series, get Zach Gallen on the right track tomorrow. And on paper, it should work out that way. But obviously, with the way that he's been struggling recently, it's been weird. Hopefully, Gallen shows up.
Fernando dropped my favorite curse word in Spanish, puñeta. Rafael says, how does Sean DePaz feel about the outcome of this game? That's a very important question. Do we know how Sean feels? Well, apparently he was present at Fenway to see this ass kicking go down. I'm sure he's going to allege that he was on the Diamondback side.
Did you see what his fit to the game that he tweeted at me?
No.
He was wearing a Serpientes jersey and a Red Sox hat.
Oh, get out of here. Pick a goddamn side. You coward. Pick a side.
Just yuck. I mean, that is just gross. Just have some self-respect.
No wonder they beat the shit out of the Red Sox tonight. They deserved it, and it's Sean's fault, frankly. It is Sean's fault. So I guess maybe we should thank him.
To be fair, Sean said he wasn't actually going to the game like that. He only put that on Twitter to be inflammatory. But it was a funny little picture and reaction that we had there. I think he was rooting for the Snakes. Could be wrong. Pretty sure.
No, Charles Woodall Pike says Sean the traitor.
That's a good point.
It's a good point. I will say this in regards to what you said about Zach Gallen. I'm very concerned about Gallen and Merrill Kelly. I would like to see them get back on track, and I think that, again, as much as we're going to talk about Jordan Montgomery, we're going to talk about, this starting rotation here in a moment. He isn't the only one struggling as of late, and we've seen Zach and Merrill both have some pretty bad outings lately. Again, Merrill, he just came back from a lengthy time off due to injury, so I think that's a little different. I'll give Merrill some more time, but Zach, there's still some concerns there. I was asked yesterday, like, what do I think, is going on with him? And deep down inside, if I'm being honest, just speculating, I think that there's still something wrong with him, that he's hurt, he's injured, he doesn't feel right, and I think, like, of course, we know based on the way that players talk that that's constant. That is nothing new. I'm not even suggesting that it is, but it almost feels like there's something that's still keeping Zach a little off, a little, maybe throwing his mechanics off slightly or something, especially considering that he's not. El Gallo says fastball command, that's the key, especially getting ahead in the count, according to the article by Mr. Jesse Friedman.
Yeah, and I think with Gallen, right, like you're right. Like, this is professional sports. Almost everybody's hurt. It's about, hurt versus injured. That's like the
Right.
age-old debate. But I think that if the Diamondbacks were truly concerned about his injury, for lack of a better term, or if there even is one, I feel like that they feel obviously pretty confident that he's going to be able to work himself out of that, because otherwise they would just shut him down. They don't mess with players' health. Like, they're not the type of organization to be just throwing people out there like that. So I think he's clearly healthy enough to be playing decent baseball. Otherwise, they wouldn't be playing him at all. We saw that.
I completely agree.
Yeah,
I completely agree. It's not that, but it's like what Cattell said, right? When Cattell, I brought this up, I keep bringing this up and apologize for doing so. But when Cattell got nominated to, the All-Star game and was selected as a starter, he said that this was the first time he had played pain-free in 2 years, right? And it's like, that's just one of those things. We know Cattell's had a lot of little injuries in those 2 years, but to hear him say that, it's the first time he's played pain-free in 2 years, that's something significant. And that just goes to show how, with the grueling season that these baseball players have to play, how much they have to play while they have little agonizing things that hurt them, right? I mean, I'm 43 years old. I have agonizing things that hurt me every single day. Sitting in this chair that I'm sitting in right now for too long will hurt me, Damon. Doing this show causes me physical pain.
Just go on a walk with Derek. The guy can. I mean, his ankle will start hurting eventually.
I'll never quit though, right? You've seen me. I'll complain about how hot it is. I'll hobble the whole way, but I will not stop. I'm not getting pulled out of the game. I'm not getting taken out of the game, right? And that's the thing is that sometimes, you kind of need somebody to step in and say, maybe you should actually do something about your ankle instead of just trying to, live with it. And that's where I need a medical team, I guess, to interject between me and my playing time. But alas, can't afford that.
To your point earlier about Merrill Kelly, I think you're right. Like, looking at his game log, he obviously struggled against the Rays. 6 earned runs in 5 innings, not a good outing. No question about it.
Yeah.
But before that, he pitched against the Phillies and gave up 2 earned runs in 5 innings. It's been 2 starts. So maybe it just feels like, because of the way Zach's been pitching, it's making us feel like, with recent memory, that Merrill has been worse than he has.
Yeah.
Merrill Kelly still could be in a position where he is, ready to go. He had 1 bad game. So, he deserves that benefit of the doubt. And
I completely agree. I'm just saying it's I'm excited. I guess I have some anxiety, but I want to see, Zach and Merrill come out. And I mean, seeing those guys come out and have some good outings the next 2 days would be, I guess, kind of icing on the cake of how good this team has been lately. Right. And I mean, with the way this offense has been performing, these guys don't even need to be great. They don't need to go out there and, just allow only 1 earned run. They can make mistakes and they can still get away with it with how good this offense has been. And of course, players obviously lie about their injuries, but I would never do so because I like to complain. But of course, we know no matter how much players might lie, the numbers, they never lie. And I have tonight's number that doesn't lie, that might just be a good interpretation of what the Diamondbacks have been doing in this month of August. That number that does not lie for tonight is 132. Damon, do you have any idea what this number is, by chance?
I have no idea.
This is the number of runs the Arizona Diamondbacks have scored in the month of August, which leads Major League Baseball.
Do you know what the next closest is?
I don't right now off the top of my head, due to just I was only able to do theirs with the with tonight's numbers, but I can pull that for you. But let me tell you,
that'd be pretty. I bet it's a pretty wide discrepancy. Or you know what? I bet you it's the Padres, and then right after that, it's a pretty wide discrepancy.
And then the Dodgers or something.
Yeah.
Oh man, but this team has been so good. They've been so good. And they continue to stay hot. Of course, the offense is something that I think we never expected it to be this good. Like, we knew it would be better, but we also knew, that they kind of got by last year. We were like, hey, maybe Jock can come and hit some home runs. We had no idea that Jock was going to be such a well-rounded hitter. and be so good that he literally is like his how good he is rubbing off on Jake McCarthy in the locker next to him.
Yeah. I don't really have much else on that. Sorry.
Yeah, you got Geno. Geno is incredible. But of course, we will talk here in a little bit about that whole situation with Jordan Montgomery and Ryne Nelson in the starting rotation. But first, of course, we do want to let you guys know to check out the PHNX Die Hard membership if you haven't done so already. Make sure to get that membership at gophnx.com. Get all sorts of wonderful benefits, including a free shirt from the PHNX locker. You get all of our content. You get access to all of Jesse's written content, access to our Discord, which is the best place to be an Arizona sports fan, and so much more. So make sure to sign up today for GoPHNX over at gophnx.com for that Die Hard membership. And of course, you get that free piece of merchandise every year. Pays for itself. So make sure to check that out. Also, stop by Circle K right now. I know you're thirsty. I know this game left you parched, so make sure to grab yourself a Polar Pop or a Froster for just 79 cents between now and September 3rd. We have a lot of time. I don't know what the price is going to do. It might skyrocket with how valuable those Frosters and those Polar Pops are, so make sure to get yourself one right now. Of course, if you are not part of the Inner Circle, make sure to join the Inner Circle for free by downloading the Circle K app. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit circlek.com for details. When you do, you'll save 25 cents off per gallon on your first 5 fill-ups over at Circle K, and then you'll save 3 cents off per gallon every day after that on Circle K's already cheap gas. So go fill up your car with some gas, fill yourself up with a Froster. Make sure you cool yourself down because, like I said earlier, it's still very hot outside. And acknowledge the fact that Circle K is America's thirst stop. Also, speaking of it still being very hot outside, it's very bright outside still. And of course, if you live in Arizona, you still need yourself a solid pair of sunglasses. So make sure to check out Shady Rays and their wide variety of sunglasses. They have hundreds of styles to choose from. They have blue light sunglasses. Look at Damon. I can't even pull those off, by the way. No, those don't look nearly as good on me as they do on Damon. And that's what happens with sunglasses, right? Sometimes you got to find your style. I have my style right here. This is more of my speed, right? And this is, see, these are two cool guys right here. Of course, these guys are made cooler by our Shady Ray sunglasses. And then that's the beautiful part about it. If you get a pair of sunglasses, if you get a little overzealous, you think you can pull off what Damon's wearing and you order them and then you put them on your face and you're like, my God, I cannot pull these off at all. You can exchange them for free or get your money back within 30 days. There's no risk at all when you shop. You could also lose those bad boys doing whatever Damon's going to be doing, surfing, snowboarding, whatever cool guys in the 90s did. Like, that's what Damon's going to be up to this weekend. So, of course, if he loses them, even on the first day he gets them, you can get your sunglasses back for free with their insane protection plan. They told us they'll send you a brand new pair, no question asked. So make sure to get yourself some Shady Rays. And exclusively for our listeners, Shady Rays is giving out the best deal of the season. Head to shadyrays.com and use code PHNX for 35% off polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. And Damon, I'm ready to throw some shade. I am ready to throw some shade right now. Actually, I'm not mad at all. The Diamondbacks made the right call. I'm going to take these back off because
Please
there's no
put in
shade
the newspaper that I got mad.
Yeah, please don't put in the newspaper I was mad, because I'm not mad that the Diamondbacks are moving Jordan Montgomery to the bullpen. Ryne Nelson will stay in the starting rotation while Montgomery will be moved to the pen. That announcement was made today. The news was broke by Steve Gilbert from MLB.com and our, of course, our guy over at AZ Central, Nick Picoro. But Torey called it one of the hardest conversations he's ever had to have. And it's understandable, especially considering someone of Jordan Montgomery's stature, someone of his pedigree as a starting pitcher. And honestly, I think the thing that surprises all of us about this move is someone of his contract, right? Like, we know that the right move was to put Ryne Nelson in the starting rotation. I don't think there was any doubt about that. But we knew that based on the obligation they've made, they kind of were in a position where they kind of had to do it. Apparently Torey wanted Jordan to kind of process it today and then start working on how he can contribute out of the bullpen tomorrow. But this is like a real thing where Jordan Montgomery, who hasn't been a relief pitcher, is going to have to kind of figure it out now, figure out how to get loose with significantly less amount of time, and how to still contribute to this team, considering that he is being moved out of the starting rotation.
Yeah, and I love Torey, and I'm not going to say that he's not being genuine when he says that, because I think that this is the truth. But I feel like every time Torey has like a difficult conversation, he comes to the media and he's like, "That was the toughest conversation I've ever had in my entire life." Because in the moment, it actually is. Like the guy really cares about the mental well-being, I think, of his players. And so whatever's the current situation is whatever is at the forefront of his mind. But it was the right decision. And, I think the Diamondbacks have shown in the last couple of seasons that they can be cutthroat with these kind of moves. They did it with Bumgarner, who wasn't necessarily, like the easiest guy to get along with. So I think that might have been a little bit easier. But they've done it with sending, Blaze and Alec down and Jake last year. And I mean, they don't mess around with this stuff. Carson Kelly, DFA, Nick Ahmed. So like as a fan, it's proof that they care first and foremost about winning baseball games. And it's hard to, really like, it's nice. It's a nice feeling as a fan, because typically a small market franchise like the Diamondbacks, they wouldn't be the money decisions a lot of times outweigh those on-field decisions. But the Diamondbacks are proving that they don't care about that. They're willing to do what it takes.
Michael in the chat says it's because Torey's job is on the line if he doesn't make those decisions. I mean, yes, but Torey's job is not on the line. Don't get it twisted.
That's what I was going to say.
That's just what crazy fans think when they lose a baseball game and they think Torey should be fired. Like, Torey led this team that was way ahead of schedule to the World Series last year. And despite the fact that there's 3 dudes on Twitter that want to constantly tweet us and tell us how they got to the World Series in spite of Torey, not because of him, you're wrong. And it's because Torey's an excellent manager and he does a great job with young talent. It's such a crazy take, right?
He Torey's job every button right the entire playoffs to get us there. Like, I mean, it was a managing masterclass in the postseason last year. And he's not perfect. He doesn't always make the right decisions. We called him out today. We were like, hey, why is Kevin Ginkel pitching? Kind of seems like a weird move.
Right. And people in the chat actually had good reasons. We didn't get a chance to like go to some of them, but I think they said because Ginkel was already warming up when all of that, like when the 6th and 7th inning happened and everything kind of blew up. So yeah, it's understandable. Like you didn't know it was going to be a blowout at that point. You still wanted your high leverage guy in there to kind of hold a close game close, but it's that's it, right? In hindsight, a jackass like me and you can get on this show and be like, why didn't you use Ginkel? Right? I mean, that's the way it is.
Yeah.
It's much easier to do that. Go try playing MLB The Show, right? If you get one of those guys warming up, what, you're supposed to sit him down now and bring another guy up? Give enough time for that? Is your one guy's little meter going to run out before then? Like, that's the way it kind of works in real life too. But I will say this, is that in regards to this situation, I'm sure the front office was involved as well. I'm sure this decision wasn't entirely on Torey, especially considering the fact that they are spending $25 million a year on Jordan Montgomery and the fact that he has a player option for next year. There's decisions that go beyond the manager. And in this case, this was the right decision, period. Right. And honestly, Jordan Montgomery today spoke to the media and he had a quote that if you kind of take a look at it, I mean, I don't know, it kind of sums up maybe how Jordan Montgomery feels about being here in Arizona altogether. Jordan Montgomery spoke to Mac, I believe it's Cirillo, it could be Cerullo, but Mac Cirillo of the Boston Herald. And Jordan Montgomery said this in regards to his free agency. Obviously, Boras kind of butchered it, so I'm trying to move on from the offseason and try to forget it.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty frank and to the point, isn't it? Like he's not.
He's not. Right. This directly addresses the reason why he moved on from Scott Boras as his agent. And again, this is one of those situations where all things considered, like this obviously is not something he's over. Right. I mean, you could also get a sense of, he's thinking about it a lot. You also get the sense that Jordan Montgomery seems to make a lot of excuses at times for things and doesn't really seem to be the kind of person that can just kind of put things behind him and move on. Right.
I haven't noticed that.
Chase Field's so hot and humid, Damon. I mean, it actually is. I'm going to back him up on that. The place is not great sometimes. And I work there.
Summer, and it's baseball. It's hot and humid in a lot of places.
A lot of places that don't have a roof and don't have air conditioning because they're an open park stadium. Right. So it's like, I I don't want to get stuck on the humidity thing. I do want to get stuck on this though. I want to get stuck on the fact that he is obviously like upset, right? And this is not, an ideal situation for him. I don't even know what the future is going to hold. The other day we were talking about this situation and I discussed moving him to the bullpen in a way that would upset him and maybe cause him to opt out of his player deal next year. And maybe that's the best for everybody, right? Maybe even though he might not make $25 million somewhere else, he might make $20 million a year for like 3 years somewhere else. I don't know. I don't know what his value is going to be. I'm sure there's going to be people believe in him. You take a look at his stats for his career, and this is the worst of his career, right?
Yeah.
Jordan Montgomery is a better pitcher than this, period. He's just not pitching like that now. And the idea here is that the Diamondbacks cannot let the fact that they're paying him $25 million stand in the way of them winning baseball games now and possibly winning a championship now. And that money is spent regardless. That money is spent if he's fucking out there shoving or if he's not. But luckily they do have a guy that's shoving. They don't need Jordan Montgomery in the starting rotation because someone is pitching much better than him, and that is Ryne Nelson. When you talk about Ryne Nelson's numbers for this season, they may not be that great, but they're still better than Jordan Montgomery's. You're talking about 95 innings pitched, a 6.44 ERA, a 4.57 FIP, a 315 opponent batting average, and 67 strikeouts for Jordan Montgomery, to Ryne Nelson's 124 innings pitched, a 4.35 ERA, a 3.62 FIP, a 271 opponent batting average, and 101 strikeouts, right? That's their season numbers. But Damon, the last 8 starts are pretty damning. In the last 8 starts, Jordan Montgomery has a 7.11 ERA. In the last 8 starts, Ryne Nelson has a 2.73 ERA. Montgomery has 28 strikeouts to Nelson's 55. And when you talk about opponent batting average, 209 opponent batting average for Ryne Nelson to Jordan Montgomery's 325 opponent batting average. Like, these two things are not the same. They're not the same. And there's no reason why, when we are coming down the stretch, we are here on August 23rd. I believe they said they have 32 games left to play. You can't fuck around and find out about Jordan Montgomery anymore. You have to go with the hot hand. You have to go with Ryne Nelson, right? The Diamondbacks have been very lucky about so many other things, but they have not been very lucky when it comes to acquiring starting pitchers through free agency.
Lefties.
That's probably the thing that they are snake bitten the most about, right?
Yes.
So it sucks. And I think that the one thing that this team continues to do well is to cut their losses on guys, no matter how important that guy is to them. Either, in the front office, they think that this is a key member of the franchise moving forward, or the fact they're spending $25 million on him this year, right? They're not letting anybody get in the way of them winning over the last 2 seasons. And that already got them to the World Series last year. And right now it got them another win tonight with Ryne Nelson on the mound. And I feel like that was the best decision. It's just shocking that it was made, because all of us thought at the end of the day that money was going to control this situation more than common sense.
Yeah, I think so I'm the type of guy where when it comes to players answering questions, I appreciate their honesty. Like I try not to go after an athlete who says something that really, like, bothers the masses when they make, and it's an answer that they don't like, just because they were trying to be honest when they answered that question.
Sure. Yeah.
But in this circumstance, to me, this screams, I'm not over it, and I'm thinking about it all the time. And I think that there's something to be said that maybe that's impacting his performance this season, because he's going back to Boston. He almost signed with the Red Sox on a longer term deal, and Boras kind of, blew it. Right. But as an athlete in that situation, I think it's a lot easier to just be like, yeah, it is what it is. And, I'm focused on trying to win baseball games with the current team that I'm on, because we're contending to win a World Series this year. That's our aspiration. And, he chose the other route of being like, yeah, my agent really screwed it up. And I think it's obvious to me that this is where his mind is at. And I get it. It's like, it's a lot of money, and it's generational wealth, and he has a family and he wants to support them. So it's understandable. He's a human, but it's at the same time, it's like, I think I'd be lying to myself if I was saying that I didn't think it was impacting his performance at all.
I'll say this, man. Really, at the end of the day, I know there's probably a lot of teams that passed on giving him what Scott Boras was asking for. And we don't live in that reality to know what he would have pitched like had he got that deal. We live in this reality, but there's probably a lot of teams that are like going, whoo, when it comes to the thought that they were going to give him maybe 5-6 years and a whole shit ton of money to play for their team. And again, we don't know what he would have pitched like had that deal happened. We don't know what his mental state would have been like. Maybe if he was happy, maybe if he was pitching in a place with less humidity and a better air conditioning system, maybe he would be, absolutely killing it right now. But we live in this reality where Jordan Montgomery is now the highest paid reliever in Major League Baseball, surpassing Edwin Diaz's contract of $19.7 million with his $25 million deal. That's where we're at. But you know what? Like I said, the money's been spent. You're invested either way, so why not go for the player that's going to bring you the wins, no matter what their paycheck is, rather than the guy that right now is just been struggling. And that's, a 7.11 ERA in his last 8 starts. That does not play, as Jesse Friedman would probably say. But
no, it doesn't at all.
It does not. But I got to give a shout out to Johnny Walker once again, one of my best friends since high school. Not entirely wrong. Thank you for your super chat. Johnny says Moneyball 2.0. There are 3 statistical categories in baseball: offense, pitching, and defense. D-backs lead MLB in 2. Defense, not as sexy perhaps, but look at the results. Lovullo Hazen 2024.
Yeah, this team on defense just values defense more than a lot of other organizations. And I think it's why, Blaze wasn't hitting, but I think it's why Blaze is they're just like, they can't trust him on it from a defensive aspect. And they don't want these guys in their lineup who are going to hurt them negatively in a defensive way. But also, I just need to say that drink responsibly, people.
Yeah, he's not wrong. He's not wrong. Did I say since high school? That was probably pulling the curtain back too much.
You did. That's the age of
Cogs. Don't listen to me.
Legal age is 21. We are.
I lived in a different age. Yeah, I did. Anyway. All right. Well, that's all I got. Johnny Walker again. Thank you so much for your other super chat. He says, "Go D-backs." I think we can all say go D-backs on a night like this, where they beat the Red Sox 12-2. Again, the most runs in franchise history that they've ever scored at Fenway. And we're not done. We got 2 more this weekend. So, of course, we will be back on Monday. I think there might be a certain guy with a beard that might return on Monday as well. Might be Damon. It's definitely not Jesse. That's for sure. It ain't Jesse. Jesse couldn't grow a beard if his life depended on it. He's got the chin music. He's got that sweet, sweet chin music. But hit that like button before you get out of here. Of course, make sure to come back. Join us on Monday. Send your Mailbag Monday questions. We will be sure to answer those. Of course, you can also follow us on Twitter. I am at Cap_caveman with a K. Damon is at Damon Dog. We are all Damon's dogs. Bark, bark. Of course, our show is at PHNX_D-backs, but all roads lead to at PHNX_sports on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. We thank you guys so much for your time. We appreciate you stopping by. We will see you on Monday at 1 p.m. And until then, hope you have a great weekend. And remember, kids, baseball is fun, but it's more fun when you make the right decisions to help your team win games. Let's go.
We all silly like the mayor.